Radnor is still in COVID-19 lockdown, waiting for a signal from Harrisburg to begin the process of reopening and adjusting to a new normal lifestyle. That's the lead story in this installment of Commissioner's Corner with 6th Ward Commissioner Jake Abel. Commissioner's Corner is a series of programs produced by MLTV to help keep residents aware of how local government affects the quality of life in Radnor Township. Jake, how you doing?
Rick, good. Glad to be back with you.
Yeah, holding up okay, I assume.
Family's well under these circumstances. Yeah. We're dealing with the same thing everyone else is dealing with.
Yeah, we don't have small children, obviously, but I can't imagine what it's like to try to keep 2, 3 kids busy all day long.
Well, in our case, 4.
4? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we had 5 way back when, but thank God we didn't have to deal with this. How is Radnor responding to the pandemic, and what's the current situation in the township?
Well, the current situation is, like most of, like all of Southeast Pennsylvania, we are under the governor's orders where, the next date we're looking at is June 4th to see if any of the local communities are able to open up and start lifting some of the restrictions. But at this point, we're under the same restrictions that we've been under for the last several weeks.
I saw a headline this morning, but I didn't have a chance to read it. Is that what you're referring to, June 4th? Are we part of the area that he's lifting the?
Yeah, I've seen the same thing you've seen, where I think it mentions a few more counties will move to the yellow. I don't know if that's going to include Delaware County or not.
But I read again this morning that there was a small surge in illnesses, possibly even deaths in Delaware County over the past couple of days. And I guess that's the way it's going to go, up and down, up and down. I don't think we're going to flatline this thing entirely. Do you?
I don't even want to make an assessment on that. I'll listen to the professionals in the healthcare professionals that provide that data. And one death is one too many for me. So it's sad, and my condolences go out to all those families that are dealing with this.
Yep. I've heard you in the past talk about the parks. You're concerned about opening the parks, and not only opening them, but making them completely accessible to kids, families, and so on. What's your current thinking on that?
Well, I'm not sure I understood that, but my concern has been actually if we're opening them too quick. So, and with 4 kids, we're always out and about trying to find different ways to get the kids exercise. And I'm all for having the parks open at the moment if they're being used correctly. But as I've talked about at meetings and on social media, I've identified a few of the areas where I don't think they're being used appropriately, and that we need to look at doing, maybe thinking outside the box and either shutting them down completely, going to certain hours where they're in use, or having more, having the police department or the township monitor these parks just to make sure that that we're following the guidelines, that we're not having groups of 10 or more out there practicing. Or out there trying to get exercise.
Is that the most frequent sin? Too many people in close proximity?
Yeah, I mean that's what I've seen in the areas I've been into. I think for the most part, the parks are being used right. Open spaces are being used right. I see families out there, and they're in their own little unit.
Yes.
But then I go to other areas. Memorial Park, for instance, is the one that comes to mind because that's the one I frequent the most. Yeah. Where you just have large groups, and it's almost turned into, people aren't going to the shore right now, so they're taking all those activities and bringing it to that field where you see volleyball nets set up, sports teams practicing. Those are the types of activities that I think need to be cut out at the moment.
But the fields aren't open, right? The courts aren't open.
No. So
at least not officially.
Hard surfaces are closed down. So tennis courts, basketball courts, and playgrounds. Those areas are still off limits and prohibited to be used.
Mm-hmm. So where are these kids going? Are they all in lockdown?
No. I think parents and families are being creative. So I see a lot of, in neighborhoods, you see the streets being used.
Okay.
Parking lots are another great place where you can go out and ride bikes, and you have large areas where you can fit a number of families, and they're able to maintain that social distancing. And then just open spaces. So if you go to Philippone Park or Ditmar Park or Ordericio or even Memorial, those are large areas that can be used by the community, and you're not going to have and you're able to be away from others, get your exercise, get people out and continue to be fit and get their exercise in. But when you start bringing groups of friends just to come out and gather, that's where it makes it hard for other families to be able to also be in the same area.
Yeah, that's going to continue to be a problem, as it has been throughout the country.
And there's
according to reports.
Right, and there's no easy solution to it. So, like I said, I'm trusting that the emergency management team through the township, I know that they're looking at these issues, and they've got to think of different ways and balance be able to balance allowing residents to be out in the public, but not being out there too much and in too big of groups.
Well, what is the rollout strategy for Radnor Township? I'm sure I assume the board has been discussing this and has a plan in place.
Well, until we're still in the red, so we can't do much at the moment.
Well, you can plan. You can get ready.
You can plan. You're right, and we had that discussion on Monday night, at least for the business district. What are we going to do when restaurants are allowed to open back up? And threw out some ideas on ways that we can help that industry and help the business district at large. So retail is included in that too. And one of the ideas that we discussed is allowing outside dining, because whenever we're allowed to reopen the restaurants, I think everybody assumes you're not going to be able to have full capacity inside. So what's a way? How can we help these restaurants still be able to make a living if they're able to, if they have to cut their capacity by half? And one of those ways is to allow outside dining. So do we shut down North Wayne Avenue for a couple days a week, allow dining tables on the street, just so we can put more people in that area?
Right.
Because there's going to be, people have been trapped inside for several weeks. So there's going to be a need and a call for getting out into the public once this opens.
Any other creative ideas to support the comeback in the Wayne Business District?
Yeah, well, one of the other issues that we talked about on Monday night was, maybe holding a weekly drive-in movie. So again, shut down North Wayne Avenue and use some of those larger parking lots where we can get residents in. I like the idea. Again, I made the point, if no one has an issue with people being out at parks where they're around others,
right?
I don't see an issue with people being at a drive-in movie theater where you're in your vehicle. And that's a way, you order food from the local restaurants, and you're able to do something that you haven't been able to do in several weeks. Families like mine, we're looking for different ways to keep the kids occupied. And this is a nice idea, a change of pace. I think it would work. Again, if we do it once and people gather, then we may have to decide we're not ready for it.
Yes.
But I give the residents the benefit of the doubt that we're going to be able to do this the right way.
Any ideas though for retailers other than restaurants? How can the township help them?
Yeah, and those are the issues that we're going to continue to discuss. One of the ways, again, you have outside dining. You're going to bring a lot of people into an area.
Right.
Maybe you could create a First Friday atmosphere where retail stores can also sell out on the sidewalks, so you don't have to have as many people inside the establishment. But those are ideas that we're going to continue to discuss, and hopefully we'll have some more ideas, and we're ready to roll it out once we go from red to yellow and then yellow to green.
Are the business people coming to the township with ideas, with requests, asking for relief?
I know they're in communication with the township. They're in communication with staff. I've had regular conversations with members of the with the Wayne Business Board, and I know they've reached out to other commissioners. So they're an active voice in this conversation, and they have to be, because they know the space better than we do. We're just trying to find ways that we can support them.
A quick aside. The situation with Wawa at the corner of what is that, Lancaster Avenue and what's that? Yes. Any developments there?
No, I haven't. I've had no update in the last several weeks. The last I knew, it was being appealed.
Yes.
But with the courts being shut down for a while, I assume that's if it hasn't started, it'll pick back up in the next several weeks.
Yeah. In your term on the board, I think it's fair to say you've earned a reputation for being a creative thinker, out of the box thinker, and so on. Some of the ideas you've had, some of the issues that you have advocated. Any additional ideas to come to mind beyond the Wayne Business District about how we can roll out and adapt to this new normal?
No, it's a good question, and something that will. I think it's not just me thinking about this. I think we all need to think about this, and the board as a collective voice needs to have ideas ready to go. One idea that may come forth in the next several weeks, and we're looking at the legality of it, is to raise money for the business community and to be able to help support projects. Yes. I've talked about auctioning off a couple parking spaces down in that area. So, you'd take 2 or 3 spots, auction them off, and the money that we're able to raise from that, we put right back into projects for the business area.
But Jake, why wouldn't the board, and maybe it has, why wouldn't the board consider bringing together representatives from all of the important constituencies in the township, the universities, healthcare, obviously business, other businesses, nonprofit organizations, the library, and so on, put together a group to come together to discuss all of the resources that can be brought, but how those resources can be deployed. In the absence of that kind of master plan, we're going to do this piecemeal.
Yeah, the township's having those discussions with all those stakeholders. I don't know, and it's a question I'll ask. I don't know if they're having those conversations as a group. And you're probably right. all those stakeholders need to be in the same room, and if they haven't already had those conversations, we should have those. We should have those in the near future.
Yeah. One of your new ideas has been the little libraries in the parks. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I'm very excited, and actually, I just drove by it coming over here. We have 2 little libraries set up, one at Odoricio Park and one at Philippone Park. And the idea, if we were under normal circumstances, it's basically a book. It's for books, so it's a give a book, take a book. When you're done with a book and you want to donate it, it's a place that you can donate it. And if you're enjoying the park and you want to sit down and read, you have a place where you can just grab a book from. Or if your kids are in the park and they want to take a book and have it, it's available. But I'm excited for a different reason. Right now, under the governor's emergency declaration, it's also being used for donations. So if you want to discreetly donate, it's a way for you to drop off non-perishable items, toothpaste, toilet paper, paper towels, and families that need those items at this time can come and collect.
Is the idea under consideration by the board?
They're already set up. So we have the 2. I talked with the Parks and Rec department. They were in full support. Neighbors in Ward 6 were in full support, and
That's
so
great.
we moved really quickly on this. And I hope the idea catches on all over the township, and we use our parks as homes for these little libraries.
So we'll have some pilots before it goes to all the parks.
Well, yeah, I guess you could consider this a pilot. We have little libraries. There's other little libraries in the township.
Yes.
But I think you're going to see the popularity when they're located in the parks.
You have a quick update on the Morris Road streetscape project?
Yeah. So I was back out on Morris Road last week with the township, and we were looking at the condition of the sidewalks, which are not getting any better. I was informed that these plans are moving forward, and we should be able to have a town hall meeting within the next 4 to 6 weeks. Regardless of the situation, we'll either do it as a Zoom call, or we'll gather as a group to bring the neighbors updated on the plans, and then it'll be before the board in the not too distant future.
Great. All good stuff. All good stuff. Next time we talk, let's talk about the budget. It's not too early to start talking about the budget, particularly the impact of COVID-19 on the money that's available and how it's going to be spent.
You're right. It's never too early, and next year is going to be difficult. So we need to be very creative in how we structure this budget.
No tax increase, please. Jake?
No. I won't be supporting any tax increases.
Okay, fine. Thanks very much. Today's Commissioner's Corner has featured 6th Ward Commissioner Jake Abel. Until next time, take very good care of yourselves.